known as York, while Dr. Crawford of not more. Even from such a distance, the raw power of the Gate Guardian is impossible to ignore. It radiates off of the being like an invisible aura. Dr. Zarkov had read all the files to get within a kilometer of the mighty entity would be to court death. Anyone who approached it would taste the heat of its sword, cleave them apart at the atomic level, and effectively erasing them from existence. It's about as dead as anyone could possibly be, save for someone being thrown into SCP-3930 and literally removed from the plane of existence. SCP-3930 had failed to annihilate the hard-to-destroy rectum, but perhaps where that whole lot of nothing had failed, the Gate Guardian would succeed. It remained floating, fixed on one place, as though waiting for something, but what? Perhaps a fateful confrontation with a certain reptilian icon, Dr. Zarkov. Like many, he had heard the most famous story involving SCP-001, the Gate Guardian, which took place before even the days of the SCP Foundation. After all, every foundation needs a founder, doesn't it? And that's how it began. The founder was a mysterious figure, no matter who you ask. Some say it was O5-1, others say it was the legendary administrator. Some even believe that it was someone else, someone older, someone who predated even the current O5 council and administrator, a wise and learned figure, going on a pilgrimage around the known world in hopes of expanding their perspective and seeking out the strange and unusual. He was traveling down the river Tigris that the founder encountered the Gate Guardian. Of course, as always, from a mile away. The founder saw the distant glowing plane shaped like a human being with wings. It was unlike anything they'd ever borne witness to. That's when the founder felt a door open in the back of their mind, and something sneak in. A single word, projecting somehow infinite authority. The very presence of the word made the founder's body rattle. Never had they heard such a voice, conveying such certainty and power. It had to be the voice of the distant glowing figure. It could be anything else, couldn't it?
Hurry into the Console Plus 4th of July sale and get our lowest prices of the season. Save up to 35% off.
Certainty and power. It had to be the voice of the distant glowing figure. It could be anything else, could it? Much like Dr. Zarkov would experience hundreds of years later, the founder, even as a person so powerful, knowledgeable, and influential, suddenly felt so unimaginably small. The founder became aware of not just the extent of the world around him, or even the universe, but a terrifying multiverse of possibilities. There was light out there, but even more darkness, and terrifying things were hiding in the dark. Is that what prepare meant? Did it mean to be ready for all the terrible things hiding in the dark, just waiting for the opportunity to strike? Just how great was the extent of the things humanity didn't understand? The founder's mind was flooded with so many possibilities. But there was a tide of monsters in the blackness that needed to be fought back. It was too much for any one person to ever handle. The founder needed a group, all gathered around the same mission, to contain the coming threat that the great glowing being had warned them about. People of focus, commitment, and sheer will. People who would accept the knowledge of the terrible things in the darkness and still not waver in the face of their great and noble challenge. People who, if necessary, would be willing to die in the dark so that the rest of the human race would live in the light. They would be humanity's greatest defenders, even though they would defend in secret. This was how it had all begun, supposedly. Dr. Zarkov had heard the story whispered many times while conducting his research into SCP-001. And now here he stood, perhaps where the founder had been standing all those years ago. The SCP Foundation had faced down greater threats than SCP-682, the Hanged Pit, the Sealed Pit, the Scoured Pit. Hell, if they wanted to, they could go toe-to-toe with the Broken Pit. And all of them had begun with a single word from the mighty Gate Guardian. Surely an ornery, overgrown lizard wouldn't be too much for it to handle. But of course, they hadn't just come here to live in the garden. That'd be an egregious waste of time and health. They'd come here transporting precious cargo, a chunk of SCP-682's flesh, cut from the beast itself. Currently it was attached to yet another remote-controlled drone. set on a collision course for the Gate Guardian. Dr. Zarkov watched the video feeds with sweaty palms as he saw the drone and its diabolical cargo enter the video's view, getting closer to the Gate Guardian by the moment. Closer, closer, until the Gate Guardian struck out with its great and terrible sword. For such an astronomically huge being to move so incredibly fast was astounding in and of itself. But what Dr. Zarkov found even more exciting was the result. In one quick slash of its solar blade, both the drone and the SCP-682 tissue samples were utterly evaporated. Gone, reduced to less than even. Dr. Zarkov's face split into a manic. If it could destroy the tissue sample, then surely it could destroy the monster itself. And what a glorious day. Meanwhile, back at the cross-testing chambers of Site-19, SCP-682 was having another miserable day. It was dragged half-melted out of its acid tank at 3 a.m. in the morning and left slowly regenerating on the floor.
A typical SCP Foundation wake-up call.
It thought to itself, with the roll of its still regenerating eyes. What form of horrible torment would be in store for it this time? It began scrolling through its mental Rolodex for the most recent failed but painful termination attempts. Oh, yes, of course. They tried suffocation via vacuum. That definitely made SCP-682 feel a little lightheaded at least. Until, of course, it adapted its body to begin releasing a gas of similar composition to its native atmosphere, which had certainly given those bipolar brain sadists a lot to take note of. Then, how could it do that? They tried roasting it to death with extremely high temperatures. Thankfully, as always, it had a trick up its sleeve, adapting a carapace made of solid helium to defend it from the fire, then shattering it to shred a bunch of those buffoons in the orange jumpsuits. Then they cut off a sample of its flesh, shoved it into some absurd industrial blender before shoving what's left into a centrifuge. What a divine pleasure it had been for 682 to hear the explosion down the hall, when the antimatter embedded in its genes went off and put a number of those idiotic Foundation drones in the hospital for months. Serves them right to continue the matters of forces they couldn't even hope to understand. And today, they were feeding at the carcass of a dead SCP-682.
The wings are gone
It
too.
felt sometimes that the Dark's Testament had forgotten the note of highly intelligent on its fire. Being dragged into one of those ghastly chambers and given some form of novel stimulus could only mean one thing. Something stupid and painful.
It must be in the house somewhere.
Said stupid, painful thing in this case was that the cow was spiked with an instance of SCP-3521, also known as the banana pill, by Data. What followed was a remarkably absurd instance, even by SCP-682 cross-test standards, where a huge number of bananas spontaneously burst out of 682's body. Being a big fan of bananas, apparently, 682 was actually able to eat and metabolize the bananas faster than the enormous banana pill could produce them. And because bananas are each individually slightly bigger, 682 was able to synthesize this collective radiation into a powerful death ray.
And once you find me, yell Yahoo!
As far as Dr.
Once you
Zarkov
find
and the
your
rest of the
wings,
SCP
yell
Foundation were
Yahoo!
concerned, this thing being cleaved apart
And
on
once
an
you do all
atomic
the
level by the
things to
Guardian
do,
couldn't come
you
soon
need
enough.
to do,
Sometimes it took
then
the
come
ultimate
find
means
me
to slay the Earth.
all over
Not long
you.
after that, SCP-682 was dosed up on enough sedatives to give
Oh,
New York
come
City
on, you ruined the entire
and
riddle.
carted over to Sun
Well, where are
City,
the wings?
heavily secured
I'm not telling y'all.
Taking SCP-682 this far between containment sites was considered a matter of grave seriousness. In other words, the result of this little experiment better have been good to justify the insane security risk it took to even get the damn liquid out there. Dr. Zarkov and Dr. Clark decided to co-supervise the cross-test from the safety of the Site-Zero observation deck. Either would have been foolish to want to get any closer. Even Dr. Clark, while undeniably a loose cannon, didn't have an outright death wish, unless, of course, wishing death on SCP-682 would count. 682's sedated body was strapped to a large unmanned vehicle, the kind they might use for an exploratory mission on another planet, and sent in the direction of the Gate Guardian's deadly
Where's the
proximity
baby
zone.
again?
A secondary camera drone was also sent in to lag behind, correctly predicting that when the Gate Guardian struck SCP-682, it would obliterate the unmanned vehicle too, and whatever happened out there, the Foundation needed it on camera. Dr. Zarkov had sweaty palms and gritted teeth. Seeing the culmination of his professional career unfold in front of him, Dr. Clef was looking at a meme on his phone. As 682 got closer, it began hearing a booming voice in its head, just like the Congo had so long ago. The voice simply said one word over and over, then as the unmanned vehicle brought the two titans closer and closer and closer. 682, still feeling groggy, thought,
oh, if it only were so simple.
and then it happened. SCP-682 entered the dreaded 1 kilometer range. The Guardian flashed down with its mighty sword, creating a brilliant flash of light. In the aftermath, the unmanned vehicle was obliterated, and 682 was left heavily injured on the ground, still trying to process what had just happened. 682 looked up, sobered by the pain, and saw the being that had dealt this blow. 682 began to sneer.
Is this meant to be the Guardian?
It said before breaking into a venomous laugh.
This is not the Guardian. The Guardian is far west of here.
The Gate Guardian struck again with its flaming blade, once again projecting that single word. When the smoke cleared, 682 was even more horrifically injured, with only one limb left, but still against all odds.
And that was our wedding box.
The unit
Can you
would
check
one
inside
day
of it?
drag itself towards the Gate
Oh, alright,
Guardian,
that's weird.
fueled by pure rage and scorn.
Oh god. Oh, you're really cool.
Die.
Hey!
We all like that.
Those are ours.
This is my curse
kind
for
of
suggesting the boot.
Isn't that?
The reptile growled. Back at the
Where
base,
was-
Dr. Zarkov was
No, your
mortified.
guys'
How
dog.
could it possibly
Yeah.
be surviving like this? The sword was meant to cleave apart its victims on an atomic level. Atomic! In freaking atoms, goddammit! Dr. Zarkov wished she had a paper bag to breathe into. Dr. Clef, showing an uncharacteristic degree of compassion, patted Zarkov on the back, saying, "It's okay, buddy. I'll remember our first time." Back at the center of the action, the Gate Guardian blasted 682
I don't
with its
think I
sword
know
again.
perfect.
Somehow, despite the terrifying power wielded,
What are you up to?
682 continued to live. It was alive, barely, but after 3 strikes from the sword, to be alive with whatever the evil version of
This is not the Guardian. And you are not Uriel.
682 roared before spitting at the Gate Guardian.
Pretender.
One more violent strike from the Gate Guardian, and 682 finally collapsed, unconscious from the extent of its pain and its injuries. But despite all of Dr. Zarkov's hopes, the Gate Guardian did not strike a killing blow on the unconscious beast. Instead, it transmitted another word, another order.
I think he did that every day, where he would hide in new places, because they were so small, there were so
As
many
though in
places to hide.
trance, the workers of Site Zero, including Dr. Zarkov and Dr.
And they would
Clark,
always
entered the
check those
forbidden 1
places.
kilometer exclusion zone. The Gate Guardian allowed them safe
Eventually he
passage.
just stopped.
They used tools and vehicles to pick up the heavily
Thank God.
injured SCP-682 and carted away.
Little video.
After
Because I was
they
bored
all
and I
came
wanted
back
to
to
use
their
it.